Close your eyes for a moment. Picture the world you know. Every corner explored, every phenomenon explained, every truth laid bare. Now, open them. What if I told you that beneath the thin veneer of what we understand, there exist shadows? Welcome to Umbra Mysteries, the channel dedicated to peering into those abyssal encounters, those unexplained echoes, and those chilling discoveries that haunt the fringes of our perception. You'll want to watch until the very end, because some truths. Mystery 1. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. Our first descent into the unknown takes us to the desolate frozen wastes of the northern Ural Mountains in Russia, to an event so bizarre, so chilling it has captivated and terrified investigators for over 6 decades. The Dyatlov Pass Incident. It was January of 1959. A group of 9 experienced ski hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, embarked on an ambitious expedition. They were seasoned outdoorsmen, well prepared for the harsh Siberian winter. Their journey was expected to last several weeks, a test of endurance and skill. When search teams eventually located their campsite, what they discovered defied all rational explanation. Their tent was found abandoned on the slopes of Colossal, Death Mountain in the local Mansi language, its fabric slashed open from the inside. Not a rip, but a methodical cut, as if someone desperately needed to escape whatever lay outside. Inside the tent, their gear, food, and even some clothing were left behind. Following tracks in the snow, the searchers found the bodies. 2 hikers were discovered near a small campfire, dressed only in their underwear, despite temperatures plummeting to minus 25 degrees Celsius. But it was the remaining 4 that plunged this case into the deepest abyss of the unexplained. And their injuries were horrific. One woman had her tongue, eyes, and part of her lip missing. 2 men had massive skull fractures. Another had catastrophic chest trauma, as if crushed by an immense force, yet with no external wounds. What force, natural or otherwise, could cause such terror that seasoned hikers would abandon the safety of their tent in a blizzard, flee into sub-zero temperatures, and suffer such grievous, inexplicable injuries? Hypothermia doesn't explain crushed ribs or missing toes. An avalanche doesn't explain the tent cut from the inside or the scattered, partially dressed bodies. But what kind of natural force leaves radiation on clothing and removes body parts without a trace of struggle in the snow? Theories abound. A botched military experiment, an encounter with the mythical Mansi mink, or Yeti-like creatures, or even an infrasound phenomenon causing panic. It asks us, what happens when the wilderness holds secrets so dark they can warp the very fabric of reality for those who stumble upon them? Mystery 2. The Mary Celeste. On December 4th, 1872, the British brigantine De Gradia spotted a ship drifting aimlessly in the mid-Atlantic. Its sails were partially set, and it was on a direct course for the Strait of Gibraltar. But something was wrong. There was no one on the deck, no one at the helm. The ship was the Mary Celeste, a fully seaworthy vessel that had set sail just a month prior from New York, bound for Genoa, Italy. What they found remains one of the greatest maritime mysteries in history. The crew's personal belongings, their pipes, boots, and even a child's toy were all in their cabins. The only things missing were the lifeboat, the ship's chronometer, and sextant. There was no sign of a struggle, no evidence of foul play, no distress signal. The Mary Celeste was a perfect ghost ship. Was it a freak waterspout that scooped up the crew and then passed on? Did the crew mutiny, only to leave all of the valuable cargo behind? Or perhaps a sudden volatile reaction from the alcohol vapor forced them to flee into the lifeboat, where they were lost at sea. But these explanations fail to account for the lack of evidence. No signs of a struggle, no signs of panic, just a chilling, inexplicable absence. Did a sea monster or an interdimensional tear swallow them whole, leaving the ship a pristine, haunted shell? The fate of the 10 souls aboard the Mary Celeste is one of the sea's darkest secrets. A reminder that the ocean holds secrets so vast and terrifying they can make an entire crew simply disappear without a trace. Mystery 3. The Tunguska Event. From the vastness of the ocean, we now turn our gaze to the even more unsettling vastness of space. On June 30th, 1908, a massive explosion rocked the Tunguska region of remote Siberia. The blast was so powerful, it flattened over 2,000 square kilometers of forest, an area larger than London. Witnesses described a blinding flash of light, followed by a shockwave that knocked people off their feet hundreds of kilometers away. But when scientists finally reached the site years later, they found something baffling. No impact crater. For an explosion of this magnitude, estimated to be 10 to 15 megatons of TNT, the lack of an impact site is impossible to explain with conventional science. No meteorite fragments were ever found. The trees at the epicenter were stripped bare and left standing upright like telephone poles, while the surrounding forest was blown over in a radial pattern facing away from the center. It was as if a massive non-physical force had exploded in the air. Theories, as you can imagine, are as wild as the event itself. The most accepted scientific explanation is that a meteor or comet exploded high in the atmosphere, disintegrating before it hit the ground. But this fails to account for the unique burn patterns on the trees and the lack of any fragments. Could it have been a small black hole passing through Earth? A scientific experiment gone horribly wrong in a clandestine Russian lab? Or could it have been something far stranger, an alien spacecraft that detonated to prevent a catastrophic crash? The Tunguska Event remains an ethereal wound on the face of the Earth, a constant reminder that not every thunder is from the sky, and not every fire is lit by man. Mystery 4. The Wieliczka Axe Murders. In the dead of night, on June 10, 1912, a small, quiet house in Wieliczka, Iowa, became the site of one of the most brutal and baffling crimes in American history. The entire Moore family, Josiah, Sarah, their 4 children, and 2 visiting friends were found murdered in their beds, each killed with an axe. The killer had even gone so far as to cover the faces of the victims with bedsheets. The case remains officially unsolved, but what makes it a paranormal mystery? After the murders, the house became a magnet for supernatural activity. Visitors and investigators have reported disembodied voices, flying objects, and even the sounds of children crying. People have claimed to be physically pushed and to feel an overwhelming, suffocating sense of dread. The air is thick with a chilling sense of despair and anger. The spirits of the victims, and perhaps something far darker, still roam its halls, waiting for an answer that may never come. Was the killer a human monster, a drifter who simply disappeared? Or did a malevolent entity, a force of pure evil, possess the house and its inhabitants, committing a crime so horrific it tethered its darkness to their walls? The Wieliczka house is a haunted wound on the American landscape, a place where a horrifying crime bled into the paranormal, creating a timeless echo of terror. The spirits of the victims, and perhaps something far darker, still roam its halls, waiting for an answer that may never come. Mystery 5. The Bermuda Triangle. This is arguably the most famous and most enduring mystery of the modern world. For decades, the area of the Atlantic Ocean bounded by Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico has been known as the Bermuda Triangle or the Devil's Triangle. It's a place where dozens of ships and planes have vanished without a trace, often in clear weather, without a single distress call. Take the famous case of Flight 19, a squadron of 5 U.S. Navy bombers that disappeared on a training mission in 1945. Flight leader's last transmission was, "We are entering white water. Nothing looks right." Even the rescue plane sent to find them vanished. The sheer volume of disappearances defies simple explanation. Were these the result of rogue waves or methane gas explosions? The logical explanations are as numerous as the theories, but they fail to explain the lack of wreckage, the bizarre pilot testimonies, and the strange temporal anomalies reported by a few survivors. Did a secret government project pull them into another dimension? Is it the work of a supernatural vortex or an alien force? The Bermuda Triangle is a chilling graveyard of technology and life, a place where the laws of physics seem to break down, proving that our maps of the world have a few terrifying blanks left to fill. Mystery 6. The disappearance of the Eilean Mor Lighthouse Keepers. Our final descent into the abyss of the unknown brings us to a tiny island in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. On December 26, 1900, a passing ship noticed something was wrong at the Eilean Mor Lighthouse. The light was not on. When a relief vessel arrived a few days later, they found a chilling scene. The last entry in the logbook was from December 15th, and the last few entries were bizarre and uncharacteristic. The lighthouse keeper, Thomas Marshall, who was known for his stoic nature, wrote about the storm and being unable to leave. The final log entry read, "Storm ended, sea calm." All 3 lighthouse keepers had vanished. The last one to be seen, William MacArthur, was a veteran sailor known for his stubbornness and defiance. He had inexplicably left the lighthouse in a hurry. The men had simply disappeared into thin air, leaving no clues, no bodies, and no explanation. Was it a bizarre conspiracy? Or did something terrifying, something not of this world, visit the isolated island and take them? This is a mystery, not just of what happened, but what terror could cause 3 veteran men to abandon their post, their lives, and their sanity. These 6 mysteries stand as stark reminders that for every scientific answer we uncover, there are countless more questions lurking in the shadows. Perhaps some of these can be solved with future technology or forgotten information. But what if they can't? What if they are simply the feeling of dread, of wonder, of pure confusion? That is the essence of these tales. If these terrifying unsolved mysteries have left you questioning the very fabric of your reality, then you've found your home. Join the Umbra Mysteries community. Hit that subscribe button now to ensure you don't miss our next chilling investigation into the unknown. Leave a comment below telling us which of these mysteries disturbed you the most, or if there's an unexplained phenomenon you want us to delve into next.